Alright, hello and welcome to the HPPO show. I got a great episode for you today. If you're watching this on YouTube, come on down to the live show every Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have one scripted lesson about a game design topic, then we work together live on stream to develop Freelander Adventures, a 4-player card game halfway between Munchkins and Dungeons & Dragons as far as complexity, and pretty much gameplay. Today's topic is rewards, and beyond that topic we will be creating loot cards, the rewards for completing quests. The structure of the game is rather simple. 4 players choose a fantasy class, go on quests, then team up to defeat epic monsters. Like a dragon or a sphinx. We created those in the last episode. Interact with Twitch chat. Twitch chat's still empty, so once again, feel free to comment on this video. I have a comment box on my Twitch page, and I hope to see you guys next time if you're watching this. Alright. Okay. Today's lesson is a discussion about rewards. First, I want to say that Diablo 3's developer gave a wonderful talk at GDC, which you should be able to find in the doobly-doo. I'll put a link down below. So, if you appreciate better content than what I'm putting out right now, I recommend you go check that out. Alright. Enough self-destruction, driving people over to other content. Rewards. They are like treats that keep your players playing. They validate a player's action. It's your weekly paycheck or allowance for completing chores. 2 very important rules about rewards. 1, they have to be earned. You're not going to appreciate anything if it's not earned. If it's just given to you free, you'll assume that is the baseline, and you won't get any dopamine hits or joy from getting that. Alright, 2, they have to be proportional to the effort spent, right? The harder a task was, the more rewards you should get, right? The closer you came to losing, the better reward should be. The harder the struggle, right? In Freelander Adventure, our primary reward system is the gathering of loot and then epic monster buffs. You'll receive a special epic monster buff for defeating the epic monster. And then the third one, you'll win the game. So that's the reward. Loot is gained from completing quests. Loot is gained from completing quests, both combat and non-combat. Epic monster buffs are gained by defeating the right epic monster. Because quests and epic monster combats are dangerous, those rewards will feel earned. So that's automatically built in. We're following rule 1. If you've ever played a game of I Win or started on God mode, you know that you could quickly tire out. There's no challenge, there's no risk. Anything you achieve is just given, and so very quickly you'll stop playing that game. Now remember, in order for a game to be considered fair, quote unquote fair, the player needs to win 70% of the time. This is a provable study. Like, people don't think a game is fair if they're only winning 50-50, right? It's why League is so toxic. It's why League of Legends is so toxic. It's why Fortnite put bots into newer players' games so that they have a really good chance to beat those bots and become a winner. So the first few games, right, even though their skill level is really low, those bots allow them to win, right, 1 out of 3 games or 1 out of 4 games, which for a multiplayer game is huge, right? It's kind of the inverse. But again, it just tricks the player into thinking the game's fair until they start having a game where it's 100 players. But now the time spent invested is so large that you're in the sunk cost fallacy. Players are going to continue to play because they think they're good at it, and they've already spent so much time and possibly money on Fortnite skins that now they're going to keep playing even though their win rate may be 1% or lower. Right. In our game, in between 50% and 70% is where skill is going to make the difference, as well as like party composition and a little bit of luck. Right? If the players are smart and they make the right moves, they're pretty much guaranteed to have a 70% win rate and a fair game. If the players are learning, there's a 50% chance they lose. Next time, in our case, they may spend more action points gathering equipment cards and feats before going on quests and risking character death. Right? Because the other thing is you can draw quest cards for actions. Each turn, every player has 4 actions that they can spend. And they decide how to spend those actions. So you can go on quests for 1 action, or you can draw an equipment card or a feat card and add that to your character class, improving your stats and improving your chances of completing quests. Alright. My general philosophy in solving the problem of how do we make rewards that are powerful and therefore feel rewarding to get, yet don't tip the balance to fair into the player's favor so that the players are winning 90% of the games and there is no challenge, is that we have 3 types of rewards. The first I like to call Ubers, or very strong mechanical cards. Say a +8 to a stat. For a single card, that would be very powerful, but these should be rare. Right? What that percentage is yet, I have no idea. That all comes down to number crunching, and we'll probably do that on a very boring stream in the future. The second, and the majority of the cards, are filler. They're good, but not great, and they're not really memorable, but you're not going to be mad you drew them. Take a health potion, for example. No one will be thrilled to get one, but they will end up using it. Now, if you have just these 2 types, your players will hate the filler cards because they think the filler cards are preventing them from getting the Uber cards that actually make a huge difference in the game. Because rather than just being good rewards, these filler cards are again stopping them from getting the more powerful Ubers. The solution is to introduce a 3rd type of card with the same probability as the rares and Ubers. These I call jank. These are junk cards or trump cards depending on your situation, but they only work in very specific conditions. Which is why in general they will be useless. Now, one of our epic monsters is a dragon, so if we introduce a dragon slaying spear that has a 60% chance of cutting a dragon's life in half, that will come in very handy in 1 out of every 9 games. And if the dragon's the final monster, like, that is an epic reward, right, to get early on. Although you won't know the dragon's going to be the final monster later. So, like, when you get it, right, if you get it very early, you'll be like, ooh, this could come in handy, and you will like that you have it. But if you've already defeated the dragon, and then you get this as a reward, you'll probably be a little pissed, a little upset, right? Now, if we add a filler ability, discard before the first combat roll to gain an extra die in the first round of combat, right? So it gives you a slight advantage. You discard it. Now, it's not terrible. So it kind of takes the sting out of you already defeated the dragon. Now you have this super Dragon Slayer card. It takes it out mechanically, but not psychologically, right? It will still follow the players that like, oh man, I missed an opportunity to do something really cool. If I had just drawn this before we fought the dragon, that would have gone a lot easier. Right? This is actually a good thing, negatively affecting your player's psychology in this way. Players may want to play again just so they can get a game where they have the dragon slaying spear before they fight the dragon. Now, there is a 4th type of reward that I think about, and these are the absolutely useless. At least for this type of game. Remember, Freelander is a 4-player cooperative game. If it were a 4-player competitive game, duds would work. If you got a card that did absolutely nothing, right? The person who draws it will be pissed, but the 3 other players will be very happy, right? Now, because if a player draws a dud and it does nothing in this game, all the players are going to be pissed, right? And the player who draws it will feel like they let their team down. So, at least with Jank, there's a known scenario where it is better than an Uber. But mathematically, the odds are very, very small, right? I will put in one single dud. It has to be something really funny and extremely rare as not to affect our win rate. But one dud would work out very well. Because then players could just take that out of the loot pile as a reward, right? If they want to. Or if it is that funny and that humorous, right? Then players may want to leave it in. But that'll be up to them, right? Alright, that's all I have to say about that. Any questions from my Twitch chat? Nope. Still nobody here. Alright, on to the creative part. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, I do read them, share, and through the magic of editing, here we are at the end of the show. Again, I hope if you're watching this, you come and join us next Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv, HNGY HPPO. We'd love to have you, and you can help make this card game awesome. So, our Uber cards, the Powerful Bunch, we have 6-finger discount, discard, draw 6 face-down equipment cards from the equipment card pile. You heard it somewhere before. Tap this. You may use any face-up feat cards ability without paying its cost. So if you get this one, it's going to be awesome, right? Der Best. Discard, choose a stat, add +8 to it permanently. That's pretty self-explanatory. And again, with all this design, this is all rough stuff. Do not go gently. If you would die, discard this card and deal 10 damage and instead be at 1 HP. So, all of these will be pretty darn rare. Alright, I still got to crunch the numbers to what is going to be where. Alright, we got the Jank for the Rogue. If you are the Rogue, tap for 1 action. Each Rogue draws 2 face-down equipment cards. Discard. So if you're not the Rogue, you'll want the discard ability. Draw a face-down equipment card. Right? Clearly, one of these is awesome. And awesome for everyone who's a Rogue. And one of these is just okay. If you're the Mage, you may tap any face-up feat card for its spell effect. Right? So that includes the feat cards that are in the face-up feat card pile. And then, if you're anyone else, discard, you may draw 1 feat card. For a Paladin, we don't have anything yet. So, leave a comment on what you think would be awesome for the Paladin. Right? And then we'll probably use it. Or we'll come up with something else later from my own imagination and the voices in my head. Alright. For a Barbarian, if you're the Barb, you cannot die while you have at least 1 feat card. Every time you take damage, discard a feat card. Thematically, I think this is pretty cool. Instead of you will still take damage, but you'll also just continue to get dumber and dumber until you die. And then discard this, discard a feat card as well, heal for 2d6. So, that works. Ironically, that also works out very well if you're the Barb. So you still have options to not be at negative 16 health and then run out of feat cards and then die. Now we don't have anything for the fighter, so if you got something for the fighter, leave a comment down below, right? We have the Dragon Slaying Spear that we talked about earlier. We typed that up. Discard for 1 action. Roll a d10. If your roll is 5 or higher, then cut the dragon's life in half. Discard before combat, epic or regular. You get 1 extra combat die. Riddle Book. If you would be affected by Mind Rot, roll a d10. If the number is 3 or higher, you are not affected by Mind Rot. Mind Rot is the ability of the Sphinx. So this will only come in handy during Sphinx combat, during Epic Monster combat. Discard. You may draw a feat without spending an action. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. If you were affected by the Reality Stone Dwarf, you are not. Discard and end your turn. Change your class to a class of your choosing. So, this is jank because you pick the class at the beginning of the game, so the odds that you want to change anything are low. But hey, you can, and it will cost you your whole turn. So, Spoon, you may tap this and spend X action, remove 1 Hunter Ooze for each action spent from the board, and gain health for 1d6 per Hunter Ooze removed. Discard. Until your turn is over, gain 1d6 more health every time you would gain health. So, that's pretty good jank. Alright, here's what we got for the fillers. Right, we got our health pot, of course. Discard this card for 1 action. Roll a d10, heal for that amount. Hot coffee pot. Discard to gain an extra action this turn and take 1 damage. Discard to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Simple enough. Rope. Discard to skip 1 dungeon. 10-foot pole. Discard to pass a dungeon roll. My comfy pillow. Discard for an action. End your turn. Heal to full health. Master Trader. Discard. Swap 1 of your equipment cards for 1 in the face-up equipment pile. See, one thing is when I created the Uber cards, right, the draw 6 face-down equipment cards, I then also included a jank card with that same equipment theme, right? That one was for the rogue. And then the Master Trader card, there will be more of, right? And it'll be more likely that you get this loot card as a reward. But it's not totally useless, right? I knew that. For 1 action, swap this card for any face-up feat card in the feat card pile, right? Basically the same thing. And then I forgot what this one was. And alright, so here's where we're going to end it. Thanks for watching, coming to my YouTube. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Go back and watch some other episodes. Give me some advice. Join us next time, right? If you had any idea at all, right, you can either leave it in the comments down here below. Next time, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we will be working on either the epic monster rewards, or we'll just be working on creating more combat encounter cards. Right now we only have 4 combat encounter cards, and we need a lot more. So combat encounter and non-combat cards will take up our next stream. At this point, I'm going to say that's guaranteed. Alright, I don't want to waste too much of your time, and you probably already left. But if you haven't, right, hop over onto Twitch, subscribe there. Go to my website. I have the links around here somewhere. I think they're in the doobly-doo. And other than that, have a nice day. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Alright, peace.